Today I got on YouTube trying to find inspirational videos that can give me a good idea on my next video. But I really didn't find anything, but what I did find is how much garbage there is out there on love and relationships, how much bad advice there is out there. Now, most of us can determine good advice from bad advice, but our young people of today have a hard time determining good advice from bad advice because they're young, they're new at experiencing love in relationship, so they have a hard time determining what's good advice and what's bad advice. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. The more you like and subscribe, the better I can bring you more informative videos. I thank you very much for watching here at Dr. Lovebug. And as I was going through just looking at all this garbage, now with that said, there is a lot of good advice, especially on YouTube, about love and relationships. And even if you Google love itself, there's a lot of good information. But when I was looking through a lot of this bad information, what I found was it reminded me of my daughter when she came home one day. She's about 17, 18 years old, and she was crying, and I asked her what was wrong, and she explained she had been trying to date this guy for 6 months, and she had done everything that the magazines told her to do, and now he was dating her friend, and it was devastating to her. And I asked her, well, what are some of the things you're doing? They said, well, in there it said, wait 20 minutes before you text him back. And it said play hard to get, because if he really, really, really likes you, then he's going to keep pursuing you. And the harder you play to get, the more he will pursue you. And I tried to explain to her that's playing games, and there's some really bad advice. She said, Dad, I don't play games. And I said, well, you may not be doing it purposely, but that's exactly what you're doing. And I said, the problem with that, if someone really likes you, they may pursue you for a short while, but they're going to get tired of it because they don't want to play games. The only ones that are going to play games are boys and players, okay? Boys don't know any better, and players want to play games because they're playing exactly right back with you, because they're playing you just like you are them. And I tried to explain to her, it's kind of like you're not being yourself and you're lying, okay? And you have to cover one lie with another lie, then another lie with another lie, and before you know it, you can't remember your first lie and you're ready to pull your hair out. Very frustrating because you're pretending to be someone you're not. So I explained to her that the best thing for you to do is to be yourself. And when you don't answer a text for 20 minutes, sometimes that happens because you may not have heard the text, but if you're doing that on a regular basis, it shows to him that you don't care. It shows to him he's not that important. So that's really some bad advice you're getting. The best thing to do is to be yourself, because then you don't have to remember anything. You don't have to pretend on anything. And then if he ends up liking you, then he's liking you for who you are and not pretending something. And so as I was scrolling through these YouTube videos, looking at all this garbage out there, it really reminded me of that. And I went to the bathroom and came back, and this one video was playing of a car accident, and it just happened to be the next video up. And the husband, I'm assuming was the husband, was next to his wife on the passenger side, screaming and crying how much he loved her and how much he cared for her. And it was a real, very touchy moment. And it just reminded me of how short life really is and how important it is to be caring and loving to everyone, okay? And a good example is I remember when I was younger, I never had time for my mother. I was always too busy. If I wasn't playing sports, I was hanging with my friends, and everything seemed to be more important than talking with my mother and giving her a little time, which she often asked for, but I was too busy, right? Then one day I got this phone call, my mother passed away. And it hurt me so deeply. I was just begging for one more moment to tell my mother how much I loved her, to tell her thank you for the life you have given me. But it was too late. I never seemed to have time. The importance is to always to have time. You learn from your mistakes. If you don't learn anything, then you're not gaining any value. You learn from your mistakes. So if you have a mother today, go to her, hug her, tell her you love her and how much you appreciate her. Do the same thing with your father, because we're not promised tomorrow. And what does this have to do with love and relationship? Everything to do with love and relationship. Because the way you treat your mother and your father should be the way you treat your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, your wife, whatever the case may be. If you can't love your parents in that way, then how do you expect to have a real loving relationship with anybody? It's very important to be loving and caring to everyone. That includes your enemies, okay? You know, you just pray for them, because God says we need to be forgiving. And that is so true, okay? If you hold a grudge, you gain nothing but hurt yourself, okay? That's all you do. You hurt yourself mentally. It's not very good. And so it's very important to get back to the basics of being loving and caring. And yes, every single day you want to improve on who you are. You want to make yourself a better person each and every day, whether that's financially better stable, better able to provide for your family, a better husband, a better boyfriend, a better girlfriend. You should always strive for these things, okay? I'm almost 60 years old and I still strive for these things every day. It's never ending. The better person you can be today, the better you will be tomorrow. The better husband I can be today, the more my wife will love me tomorrow. What I found about love and relationships, and it's a shame it took me so many years, is the more loving and caring you are to your wife, they tend to be that way and even more back. Then it tends to compound each other. And before you know it, you're in such love, it's just unbelievable, okay? But it all starts with being loving and caring and good to each other all the time. And it's just amazing how when you start becoming this loving father and this loving husband, how it comes right back to you 10 times fold. It's just amazing. And the more it comes back to you, the more loving it makes you want to be. Now, there are people sometimes who will take advantage of that. But if you're with a good person, they're never going to take advantage of that. They're going to fall more and more deeply in love with you, the better you are to them. sometimes the little sweetest things you can say or do are more meaningful to them than you'll ever know. So remember, be loving and caring to each other all the time. I was reading the article the other day about how we never are taught to control our emotions. And this so many times leads into arguments in a relationship because we're never told how to control our anger and how to control our emotions. But something very interesting in that article that I found was that it talked about how our parents, when we were doing something they didn't like, they would say, "Stop that." Or we were crying, they said, "Stop it, or I'll give you something to cry about." But they never explained to us the importance of controlling our emotions or controlling our anger. And when we go to school, they teach us math, they teach us English, but they don't teach us how to control our anger and how to control our emotions in general, and how to be caring and loving to each other, and the importance of being loving and caring to each other. It's more than just an expression. So in this article, it explained how that if they taught your children and our children how to be more loving and caring and respectful to each other, and how to control their anger, that they believed in this article that shootings in America would drop by 75%. And you know, I have to say, I kind of believe that might even be possible, and that might be true. And it all starts with learning to love one another. That's what it starts with. Controlling our anger and loving one another. If we can do that, then this whole world would be a better place to live. I thank you for watching here at Dr. Lovebug. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. If you get a chance, please like and subscribe. And if you want to see anything in a video, if there's a video that you'd like me to talk about, or if there's something you want me to explain, please do so. And if you can tell me whether you like this video or not, I'd really appreciate it. God bless you and have a wonderful day.